Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra Parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam Govinda Yogindra Matasya Shishyam Sri Shankaracharya Matasya Padma Padam cha Hastamalakam cha Shishyam Tam Todakam Vartika Karamanyan Asmadgurun Santatamanatosmi Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham. In the verse 108, which is a very interesting verse, we saw the nature of Maya. That is said to be Sannapya Sannap 109. Sannapya Sannapya Bhayatmikano Vinnapya Vinnapya Bhayatmikano Sangapya Nangapya Bhayatmikano Mahat Buddhanir Vachaniya Rupa. Sanna Sadna Asadna. It is neither Sat nor Asat. Why it is so? It is not Sat because it is subject to be falsified. Badita Vasturupatvat. What is said to be Sat is never failing in its nature. But here, this Maya is neither real, not like Brahman, not Asat, not unreal, because it is experienced. It is experienced, therefore it cannot be unreal like horns on my head. Neither, nor it is real like Brahman because it is falsified on questioning. Is it different from Brahman? Cannot be. Because without that, it cannot remain itself as a power. Any power vested to us is depending upon the person who is using the power. So it's not Binna. So it is not different. At the same time, is it Abhinna? Is it Brahman itself? No, it is not. Because it is the power of Brahman. Like me, I can have the ability to speak. The power to speak is there in me, and I use it. When I don't use it, It cannot independently do. Therefore, it is not Bhinnam. And without me, it cannot remain. So, it is pretty much a part of. That's therefore Abhinnam. So, neither it is existent nor existence nor both. Neither it is same, not different, nor both. Cannot be both. Is it made up of parts? Sa anga, it is not also. It is not sangha asa. It is not along with the anga. Sa anga, it is not. So why it is not having? Now you say, therefore it is said by the Bhashyakar here. Evam anaditvena sa anga sa yava nabhavati savayatve janyatva apatte. It cannot be a thing that has many parts, like we having physical parts. Everybody has got eyes, ears, nose, tongues, head, toe, head, hands, and everything, which means anything that has parts must have been created at some point of time. So anything that has parts which is created out of something else, Maya is not created by anyone. It is not a thing that is created, and it is not something which is subject to death. Because it is being the power of the Lord, it is according to the wish of the Lord, it functions. Bhagavan Krishna also says, Maya adhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. Hetu nanena kaunteya jagat viparivartate. Under my supervision alone, the Maya works. And because of that alone, the world is able to function. Therefore, Maya sa avayava nabhavati savayatve janyatva apattehe nirayavatve parinama asambhavat tadapi vaktum ashakyam. If it is not okay, in that case, it does not have parts. Can you say that? It cannot be, because Maya is by nature is parinama, constant change. The change can happen only when there are things that are subject to change. Meaning, it is with the parts, and the parts can be from one condition to another condition to another condition. Like, for example, milk, if you take, milk becomes curd. The curd becomes butter. Butter becomes ghee. So this parinama takes place because the milk, parts of the milk or the ingredients of the milk is what making it to become yogurt. And the ingredients or parts of the, whatever be the vital parts of the yogurt, that becomes yogurt. It becomes the butter. Then again, that itself slowly becomes ghee. So, parinama, the change takes place. Change cannot take place in that which is having no parts. So, therefore, is this ananga? No, it is not. So, part of it is avayava, anga, and part of it is ananga. That is also not possible. So, ubayatmika, no. So, ubayatmika api na savayatva niravayatvayoho ekatra virodha deva. At the same time, it cannot be. Ataha Sattva sadvapyam binna abhinnatvapyam sangatva anangatvapyam nirvaktum ashakyam. Therefore, it cannot be described at all. Therefore, it is said what? Mahabhuda. A great wonder indeed. Rupam yasyaha sa anirvachaniya rupa maha adbhuta atyanta ascharya rupa. The world, which is the effect of, which is the product of this Maya, can never be explained as of this kind only. And that is the reason why how much our science is trying to understand the origin of the world, or what is the end of the world, or how it would have begun. All these various theories are subject to constant change. Nobody can give a fixed theory. By the time you fix one theory, within no time, it will be destroyed. Because the new theory has come, which will prove the previous one. It disproves the previous one. What Einstein had thought about it for a long time, they thought it is true. But then only to realize nowadays that it is not true. There is a new thing that is going on in them. You might have seen that. The scientists of today got a Nobel Prize in physics to prove the world is unreal. The latest Nobel Prize for the physicist has been given to, I think, 2 or 3 of them. And they proved what the world that we see as the world is not there. It is not true. They got the Nobel Prize for that. It should have been given to Shankaracharya, actually. He proved a long time back that one. But now they have their own way of proving that scientifically. Interesting. Asyaha atyanta nivritti hedu sattvacha na asatvamityaha shuddha dvaya iti. Now you see, the next verse is going to explain to us that this Maya being indescribable presence. So, Gurudev writes in commentary, at the moment, in the word page number 151 in my book, at the moment under the influence of opium of avidya, non-apprehension of reality, consider ourselves to be body, mind, intellect, and are supremely confused by the object of the world. Object perceived, emotions, felt, thoughts entertained. We cry out, "Oh Lord, oh teacher, take me home, give me peace, make me happy." Take you where? Give you what? In reality, you are the self. But due to avidya, you have lived and behave, you live and behave as though you are an ego. Today also in Saddarshan, we saw that part. And the story is that where an individual, this is a famous story, as you all know, the boy who was taking some 9 of the students to go across the river. They all swam across and went to the other side. And the boy started to count to make sure that everybody has reached that other side. And he counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we were 10 of us, we started. Only 9 are here. Again, he counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Who is the 10th person who's lost? We started with 10. And everybody started to count. Only 9. So they are all very upset and unhappy, but they do not know who exactly was lost. As they were crying, young boys, who was drowned in the water, we don't know. So at that time, one person came, said, "What are you crying?" So we were 10 when we started, but we are only 9. He looked at all of them, understood the problem. So again, count. One of the leader was asked, count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Arey, Buddhu, you didn't count yourself. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he realized that he stopped, he did not count himself in. Now, we got the 10th man. He said, you never got the 10th man, it was already there. So now you see, when we are searching for the freedom, we have forgotten that Atman can never be a slave or under bondage any time. It is our misunderstanding that I am physical body or the mind and thoughts and emotions, which make me feel that I am in bondage. And that cannot be removed until that identification with the body, etc., are removed. Even if one gets a knowledge, if he still thinks that I am the body, he is still in bondage only. So real knowledge is not just learning about the Brahman or Atman, etc. Real knowledge is to where we know that the Atman is always free. This not knowing or mistaking ourselves to be in bondage is called Maya. This is the spell of Maya. That's what he says, take me to myself, give me to my own self. You are already in Om, which is your home. Your home is really Om. Never were you out of Om, your home. Hari Om. You ask, then why am I suffering? All on account of this opium called avidya, which is within you. The guru, the teacher, will give you the buttermilk of the study of the Shastra, spiritual discipline, etc. All these for what? To take you home, which is home where you already are. So, therefore, the problem lies in the misunderstanding of oneself. World is not the reason for it. Nobody else is. Do not blame your culture. Do not blame your your family. Do not blame the circumstances in your life. Do not blame your world around you or people around you or profession. Nothing. None of them are cause for this bondage. The bondage is really a misunderstanding. Like that of the boy misunderstood, the 10th man is lost. Even as he was thinking the 10th man is lost, he was not lost. Even as he discovered that he is the 10th man, he didn't gain anything. Neither loss was there, nor gain was there. It is only forgetfulness replaced by awareness. So here also, we forgetting our nature and the soul as the free already, is that forgetfulness had led to the confusion. So therefore, in the next verse, he is going to explain how this confusion takes place. Because only when you diagnose the problem, we can understand what is the medicine. So how this Maya is able to make us forget our real self. So we'll read the 110 onward. Shuddha tvaya brahma vibodhanashya sarpa brahmo rajju vivekato yata rajastamas sattvam iti prasiddha Gunastadiya pratitei svakaryaihi Shuddhadvaya brahma vibodhanashya sarpa brahmo rajju vivekato yata rajastamas sattvam iti prasiddha Gunastadiya pratitei svakaryaihi. Sarpa brahmaha, sarpam iti brahmaha, sarpam na snake, iti brahmaha. In the confusion, rajju vivekataha nashya. Nashya bhavati. Subject to become destruction, this very Brahma, what Brahma? Confusion that it is snake, will go only when Rajju Vivekat. Rajju Vivekataha Nashya. Only by recognizing it as a rope, it can really go. Until then, anything else you do, it will not go. Yatha, tata, Shuddha Advaya Brahma Vibodha. By knowing the nature of the self as pure Brahman, Rajas Tama Sattvam Prasiddhaha Gunaha Tadiyaha Pratitaihi Kasvakaryahi. Until then, the qualities such as Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, very well known, start to express their nature continuously. The nature of Tamas is Avaranam, covering. Nature of Rajas is Vikshepa, projection. And nature of Sattva is Jnanam. And these three continuously take place in our life. Continuously. Let us say that you are now driving from here back home, and there is not much of light in a particular side road you are going. So there is a stop sign. You don't see it because it's all dark. So you don't see it. Then what happens? That is tamas. Because you are unclear about this. So what do you do immediately? You put on the headlight and make sure that then you see it. Oh, there is a stop sign, I have to stop. So unless the light is put on, what was being covered by the darkness is not known. And you perhaps make a mistake of going, and somebody would come on the other side and say, hey, you're supposed to stop. So you make mistakes because of not seeing clearly. That is what happens in our life. When things are not clear, we tend to make mistake, not even knowing that it's a mistake. When correct knowledge takes place, we realize the mistake. Then thereafter, next time when you are going in the same road, even if it is dark, you know, even if you don't see the stop signal, stop sign, you know, I have to stop. Why? Maine pehle dekha hai. I have seen it before. Even if I don't see it, I know I should stop. So Viveka, what it creates is an awareness. And thereby our mistakes can be reduced. If you don't put the light on and happen to go and nobody is there on the road to stop you, let us say, then you will never know that later on when you get into an accident, then you will realize that I should have put the light on to see whether clearly. So in the same way in our life, in many occasions where we take things for granted without thinking about it, only when we get into trouble, we realize that I should have thought about it. Very often that's what the problem is. And we may perhaps live our life for many lives without thinking about it. Many lives would pass away without we are thinking that this what I'm thinking about myself is wrong. So, Shuddha Nirgunam Advayam Sajadiya Vijadiya Swagada Beda Shunyam Yat Brahma Tasya Vivodaha Abedena Sakshatkaraha Tena Nashya Tajanya Dvamsa Pradiyogini. By that very nature of the Brahman which is pure, out of that knowledge alone, one is able to recognize all the problems that have been going on, and thereafter the destruction of the misunderstanding will take place. Tatra drishtantamaha, therefore the example is given, sarpa brahmaha, the mistaking a rope to be a snake, rajvam jataha ayam sarpaha iti brahmaha, rajju vivekataha yata kalpida sarpa adhishtana bhuta rajju sakshatkarena eva na ayam sarpaha kintu rajju iti akarena. It is not at all snake anytime, it is only rope in this understanding. Tena nirgune advitiye kalpitayaha mayayaha adhishtana tattva sakshatkara badhyatvam uktam. In the same way alone, it is possible for us to recognize the substratum of our misunderstanding taking place upon the self. Tad dharma guna karya pradibadana mukhena rajya ityadina tadiyaha tasyaha ime tadiyaha maya sambandina gunaha dharmaha rajaha tamaha sattvam prasiddha. Maya by nature is hiding. It won't show up itself. It shows itself through the qualities. That's why earlier it is said, karyanumeya sudhiyaiva maya. Only effect, by effect we'll know it. So what is the effect? Sattva, rajas, tama. Tesham pratyakshatvat, apratyakshatvat, karyamukena prasiddham. Only by the effect it will know. Aha praditaihi iti. Prasiddhaihi tattat guna karyaihi vakshyamanayihi. So now the next verse, Kramena rajastamas sattva gunanam karyani vivakshan ado rajoguna karyani aha. So when we know the effect only, we know this particular aspect of this samaya is predominantly functioning now. See, it is self-analysis, self-diagnostics. Many people in India also, they know before even go to the doctor, all the diagnosis will take place at home only. Most of the problems somehow or the other get solved by the self-diagnosis itself. Not all of them. So we have got to call that Natu Vaidyam, or what do you call that? Granny's medicine, village medicine. All we try, nothing works, then they will go to allopathy doctor. By the time it would have become severe, the doctor would say, what did you do? So looking at the effect, we will conclude certain reasons. But if we know the science of reasoning properly, then we can easily detect the problem. The doctor has been trained in his profession to look at the symptom and detect the exact problem. We go blindly, according to our own limited knowledge. In the same way, Shastra's role is to give you exact way of diagnosing. What quality is predominantly functioning at this time? And you see the effect of that, and then understand this is where the problem is. Now tamas is high, now rajas is high. Therefore, now starting with what is the nature of rajas? How do we detect? Therefore, it's a rajoguna nature and effect. Vikshepa shakti rajasa kriyatmika. Vikshepa shakti rajasa kriyatmika. Yata pravrittihi prasruta purani. Yata pravrittihi prasruta purani. Ragadayosya prabhavanti nityam. Dukkadayo ye manaso vikaraha. Viksheva shakti rajasa kriyatmika yata pravrittihi prasruta purani ragadayosya prabhavanti nityam dukkadayo ye manaso vikaraha. First and foremost is rajasaha kriyatmika vikshepa shakti. Rajas by nature is activity. By nature it is of activity. And it is of the nature of vikshepa, projection. And even the beginning of the universe, so-called creation, has come out of this very raga, which is rajas only. Yataha, from which prasruta purani pravrittihi. From that alone, the ancient original activity had started, initial flow of activity. And in our own mind, mental modification, ragadayaha asyaha nityam prabhavanti. Always there is constant activity of this rajas in the form of, I want this, I like this, I desire that, it would be nice to have this, I want to own this, I wish I had this, continuously. If we have got one, the next one starts. If we got that one, the next one starts. There is no end. Today I was with somebody who wanted to buy iPhone. I went to that shop in Costa Mesa, South Coast Plaza. Oh my God, what a crowd on a Monday morning. I don't know, Monday morning everybody should be at home. At work, nobody. So much crowd there. So he said he wanted to buy. So I went, okay. I-14, iPhone 14, I-14 Plus, I-14 Pro, I-14 Pro Plus. And I don't see any difference at all here. Everything looks the same. Then he said, no, look at Swamiji. This has this particular, what do you call that? Feature. This camera, this thing is high. Or this is the Intel chip, this is this chip, and this chip. But when you look at it, it's all the same. Little big, but it's pro, little big. Pro plus a little, through 2 inches, a little more. So I said, okay, so why are you so interested to buy this? So Swamiji, I'm carrying low 11 or 12. This is pretty old. I said, by the time you buy and step out of this shop, 15 would be there. By the time you come out, there will be advertisement right in front of you. 15 is coming in December. I should wait for 15 next? In 1 month only. There is no end. And so many people there. And we didn't buy, obviously, because that said 5 minutes. Okay, say wait for 5 minutes. Then we went around and so we were waiting for some time, and then that came 30 more minutes. Come on, let us go. There is no need to wait for 30 more minutes here. So there is no end. Ragadeyaha asyaha rajasaha nityam prabhavanti. If it is only raga, it is okay. But what happens if you don't get what you want? Dukkhadeyaha ye. Also the sorrows of not getting. Manaso vikaraha. These are nothing other than the vikara of the mind. This is how it works. See, Ishvara Shakti Maya Srishtim Karodi. The whole creation of the world is the Maya itself, which is the power of Ishvara. Therefore, it creates. That is called Ishvara Srishti. But Uhi Maya, that very Maya, Jive, in the Jivatmani, in the individual mind, also Srishtim Karodi. What? I like it, I don't like it. I want it, I don't want it. This is the Srishti here. ये जीव सृष्टि है वो ईश्वर सृष्टि है and the ईश्वर सृष्टि में कोई it does not create any problem. Well, you know why it doesn't create a problem? Because it is under the power of Lord. It cannot ever create an issue. And somebody would say, Swamiji, why not? The flood is happening, earthquake is happening, and all that is happening, and you want it to create a trouble? No. What do you mean by no? Because the Prakriti's nature is change, and it is doing its work. And you happen to stand there, obviously it will fall off. It is not intending to you to get rid of you, it is not doing that. Let us say, for example, you are walking on a road, and there is a tree which has a very old branch. Which is almost getting in, because it's an old tree. And the branch is long, it has been standing there precariously. And one day it fell, and it fell on your head. This tree, Bhagavan decided to kill me. Therefore, while I am walking, it made it come. Can you say that? So the tree is deciding who is coming. Okay, this fellow I don't like. Fall on his head. Is that so? So how can you therefore say Prakriti is actually causing trouble to you? One person was walking on the road, and suddenly, as he's about to turn to the next road, stop, don't turn. There was a voice. He stopped, and one person from the top of the second floor was throwing away something out of his window. If he gone, the whole body would have been completely messed up. So he says, thank God, I know who told me this. Anyway, so he saw that, and he cursed that guy, and then he went. Then he went further down. Then, as he was taking another turn, stop, don't go. He stopped. One truck was going very fast without stopping. Oh my God. So he said, who is helping me like this? Had I gone there, I would have been dead. So who is that who is helping me? He said, I am the divine angel, guarding you, protecting you. Where were you when you was getting married? I didn't say he or she, right? Did I say he? Okay, anyway, good. So the question was asked, where were you when I'm getting married? Now you see, if the tree's branch falls on the road, if you happen to be on that street and under the tree, you say the tree purposely had fallen on your head. So when Maya is working in its own way, and you happen to be there, is not the reason because of which you are not there. You are not to be victimized. That was not the intention at all. The earthquake and other things taking place anyways, because that is how the Maya works, and you happen to be living there, does not mean it is you are going to be punished because of that, purposely. Ishvara Shakti Maya cannot bind anyone because it is under the power and thumb of Bhagavan. That's why it's a Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. Whereas our own personal enmity, hatred, joy, sorrow, raga, dvesha, likes, dislikes, etc., are who created it? We create on ourselves and we suffer out of that. That's why he says, Dukkadayaha manaso vikaraha. You aspire for something and you don't get it and you become upset. The world is not responsible for that. So here, Mayayam santi tisra shaktayah. There are three powers of Maya. Viksheba Shaktihi, Avarana Shaktihi, Jnana Shaktihi Chaidi, Tatra Adyayoho Bandhakartrutvam Tritiya Moksha Hetuhu. It has three powers: Avarana, covering, Viksheba, projection, and Jnanam. In this, the first two are Bandhakartru, causing bondage. Tritiya, third one, Moksha Hetuhu, is the cause for liberation. Indirectly. Tatra Viksheba Shaktihi Rajasaha Rajogunasya Kriyatmika Karya Rupa. Among the three, the Viksheba Shakti projection is of the nature of Rajas, of the nature of action. Yada utrichyate Rajaha tada Vikshepaha Bhutaha Bhavanti iti Nyayam. When there is a Rajas is there is mind continuously starts to project its own expectations, desires. All those things happen in our mind. Yataha rajakarya bodha viksheba shaktehe sakashat purani anadikala siddha pravrittihi samsara hetu bhuta pravrittihi prasrudha vistrita. Because of the power of this projection, which is belonging to Maya, the creation had begun from the beginning. Sa jiviyava prapancha srishti hetu bhuta ishwariyava bhavatu. There are two aspects to it. Ishwariya Maya, then Jiviya Maya. It is of the Jiva, one aspect, another one is Ishwariya. Prapancha Srishteherevi Viksheba Shakti Karyatvat. Even the creation of the world is nothing but the projection of the Maya. Tatra Ishwarasya Shuddha Sattva Pradana Maya Upahitatvat Tasyaha Swadhina Thanitvacha Na Bandhasya Prasaktihi iti. Because the creative power of Ishvara, while he using the Maya, it is associated with pure Sattva, which is unpolluted. So unpolluted Sattva is one which is able to use the Vikshepa Shakti of the Maya, and therefore it does not cause bondage. But tasya swadhinatvacha, and also it is under the control of Lord. Na bandhasya prasaktihi. Jivasya tu manisha sattva pradana. avidya upadikatvat, because the jiva is malina sattva. Malina sattva means what? His sattva is polluted by the rajas and tamas, and therefore jnana shaktehe rajastamobhabhyam pradhihanyamanatvat. His awareness, knowledge is being covered, overpowered by rajas and tamas. Therefore, upadya dinatvam. Therefore, the dinatvam is their dependence on upadi, tat krita bandhatvam chaiti. Therefore, there is always the projection in the form of bondage. So, ragadaya ityadikam jiva vishaye jnayam. Desire, etc. are seen to be in the jiva. Asyaha rajakarya visheba shaktehe sakashat ragadaya ragadveshadi doshaha pravritti hetavaha nityam jivasya prabhavanti. Always you can see in the case of jiva continuously under the spell of this raga and dvesha created by the rajas. Now, somebody asked me this, even in this, the Shvetashvata Upanishad, I was explaining, you remember, Jiva karta tata bhokta. Jiva karta hi hai, karta bhi hai, aur bhokta bhi hai. So, he is creator or actor, doer, as well as the enjoyer. Ishvara tu karta na bhokta. Ishvara is the doer with the help of Maya, but not the bhokta. Therefore, when he does not have an intent to enjoy the action or result of action, therefore, he remains unattached even while acting. Whereas Jiva, his very intent is to enjoy, even while engaging in action, he is already caught. Right? If you are doing an action about the result of which you don't care, you will do very calmly, quietly. Right? Because you are not disturbed by the result. You are not anxious. Whereas when we do have the intent to enjoy the result of it, and therefore we are engaging in action, while engaging in action, still we become anxious. Let us say that you are going for an interview or you are going for some project finalization according to your workflow. So your boss has said, this is the target for the month. You have to do it. Otherwise, your, what do you call that? Assessment will be in trouble. What do you call quarterly assessment about your, performance assessment, right? What they do? Appraisal, performance appraisal. Review. Performance review. So, therefore, you are anxious that, I hope this project comes through, or I hope this is successfully completed. Even while working, there is so much of anxiety about doing it or completing it. Kyo? Assessment. I am very much, aware that my assessment will be in doldrums if I don't do the correct thing. So even while engaging in action, there is sort of anxiety. So on the other hand, let us say your assessment has been done already and you are already on the top. It is not depending upon this particular project. Calm, say, aram, say, without any agitation. That's what happens, these 12th graders, until November of this year, they're so anxious because now all their grades will be according to get into the college decided by how they have been performing and what they are writing in the article or the essay they are writing, so they are anxious. Past December, I can do whatever I want. I don't care. Why it is so? No, result is not, you're anxious about. So when you are not anxious about the result, the karma becomes very, Either you don't do it, or when you do it, there is no anxiety. So, Jivaha karta tata bhokta api. That's why he is always under tension. Ishvaraha karta na bhokta. Brahman na karta na bhokta. He neither does nor has any intent to enjoy anything as karta. Karta nahi to bhokta kahan se aayega? Bhoktrutva kahan se aayega? So, as I have told in that class, Bhagavan Krishna's intent is to make Arjun first of all from Jivatva move to Ishwaratva. Karma karo, but bhog mat karo. From then only you can proceed to the next level. Na karma, na karta, na bhokta. So Bhagavan himself is showing us an example. Even though in this world I have nothing to gain, Trishu lokeshu kinchana anavaptam avaptavyam. Even in the three worlds, I have nothing that I would gain or lose. Yet, vartayevacha karmani. I engage in action. Why? He says, Mama vartman vartante manushya partha sarvasha. People follow me. And when I demonstrate how to do action without the anxiety, I stand as an example. Everybody wants an example to look up to, right? And Krishna says, I am the example. I do action, but not anxious. So take that path. But what happens in the case of Jiva, because of the very fact that it is filled with raga dvesha, he never becomes free of that, and therefore continuously Jivasya nityam prabhavanti tataha ye manasaha vikaraha dukkadayaha. Dukkha harsha tarsha amarshadayaha manasaha eva natu kadachitapi nirvikarasya atmanaha idi bodhayidum manasaha ityuktam kama sankalpa vichikitsa shraddha dhridi adridihi hrihi bihi iti edat sarvam mana eva. Desire, anger, all these things are manaha eva. Iti shrutehe tat tadatmya adhyayasat jive kalpyante na vastudaha tatra santi. It is all mere imagination of the human mind. Why? Because the Atman is saksho cheta kevalo nirgunascha. The consciousness merely is a sakshi, and it is without any quality. Na anyatosti drishta nishkalam nishkriyam shantam ityadi shrudehi idanim ragadehi tyatra adipadavakrahyan srajakkari vikshepa shakti karyatvena rajasan dharman yetesham dhoratvena dukkha hedutvam tesham santada pravritti hedutvena tan molasya vrajaya bandakritvam cha aha kama idi. What are therefore the effects of this, the rajas? How do we experience in our life? What are the things that we experience in our mind? That is said in the next verse. If we read verse number 112. Kama krodha lobha dambhatya suya ahankaryeshamit matsaradhyastu goraha dharma ete rajasas pum pravritti yasmadesha tat rajo bandha heduhu kama krodho lobha dambhatya suya ahankarisham matsaradhyastu gora dharma ete rajasapum pravritti yasmadesha tat rajo bandha hetuhu. We have seen in the chapter 16 also, Bhagavan Krishna says, Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodam cha samsritaha. Asuri sampat, filled with rajas, kama, desire, krodha, anger, lobha. These three are the first ones. Trividam naragasyedam. In chapter 16, Dwaram nashanam atmanah. Three doorways to hell. Kama krodastada lobha tasmadi tatrayam tyajed. Same here. Kama, krodha, lobha. Desire, anger, greed. When desire is fulfilled, then there comes damba. Damba means pride. Then if kama is not fulfilled, krodha, and that leads to asuya. Asuya means inability to tolerate, which is known as jealousy. If I get it, if I get it, I become very proud. If I don't get it, I become angry. If somebody gets, I become jealous. Kama is a common factor. Kama is common. So, and then kama, krodha, lobha, damba, adi, asuya, ahankara. When I get whatever I want, I become very arrogant and then egoistic. Then comes irsha. Isha is envy. So that is always it's looking what is wrong with others. What is dosha darshan, dosha drishti. In everything there is dosha drishti. So what is said to be the envy here, and then etc. All of them are the matsara, isha, matsara. Matsara again is not able to tolerate anybody else's success. So all these things, desire, anger, greed, hypocrisy, arrogance, jealousy, egoism, envy, etc. So all these things, goraha, they are extremely terrible. Dharma ete rajasaha, pum pravrittihi. These are all considered as the rajasaha dharma. Rajasaha of the rajas, its nature. Pum pravrittihi yasmad esha tat rajo bandha heduhu. So therefore, these are all considered as the one which can bind a person. See, we are not physically bound anywhere. Is anybody binding you physically? Tying you up like a dog you do? Even if you put a dog, tie it up in one place. After some time, what it does? It will start shouting first. And if you don't listen, it will start pulling. And even then, if you don't do anything, it will start scratching all the places. If it is carpet, it will tear it apart. And then when you release it, first thing it will go out. Open the door and it will out. Why? Nobody wants to be under anybody. Even the dog. It may be very loyal to you. That doesn't mean you can enslave it. Every being looks for freedom. Every being. You take a plant, for example, you may think that, okay, it is only living in. You take a plant, put it in near a place, and the window is a little far away. You just watch. What will it do? First 2-3 days, you may not notice. Third day, it will go towards that sunlight where the sunlight and the wind or breeze or the ventilation is there. Because it wants to exist. Even that plant, you may think that it does not have its own volition or desire. It will show its desire. What? I want to exist. It may not be able to speak to you, but it will say, I want light, I want air, I want water. Isn't it? Every living being is looking for freedom. So even as we get kama, krodha and all these things, and when we recognize these as bondage, then only we can have the desire to come out of it. If we are thinking that this desire, anger, everything is everybody has, therefore no problem. There is no problem if you have anger. If you have problem, if somebody has anger. Your anger, you are not affected, perhaps. And if you have a desire, you have no problem. If somebody talks about his desire, I see like this. But constantly having so much wanting. If you are greedy, you never question. If somebody is greedy is. If you have jealous, you don't ask. If somebody is jealous, you cannot tolerate that. So we realize that these things, when we have, we never understand it as a bondage. So here we must recognize that these are all the effects of rajas. Kamaha vishaya ichcha, desire for objects. Krodha tat abhighate jayamana manasa vrittihi. When desirable object is not got, then the manasa vritti, a thought that arises, krodha, koba, kya, like a koba. Lobha arthasya prapto tat samrakshana matihi. Lobha is, greed is, when you get something, there is a great desire to protect it. Making sure that it is not lost. Dambaha is dharmadvajitvam. Dharmadvajitvam means, damba is arrogance or pride in the form of talking about your own greatness. Dharmadvaja. Dvaja means flag. Dvaja. So I am great, I don't know how many people understand me, but I am great. This is called damba. Abhyasuya para utkarsha asahanam. Asuya is inability to tolerate somebody else's victory, success. Ahankaraha sarvotkrushtat ajnanam. Sarva utkrishtatva ajnanam. So it is, ahankara is always in the form of thinking high about oneself, in the form of arrogance. Irsha guneshu dosha darshanam. Isha guneshu dosha vishkaranam. Where a person is also, even if the person is good, but you always see something wrong. They have, it is like journalists, the editors especially, you see the editors. Any article you go, very good article, but not a lot of commas are missing. Content, they don't bother. I think there should be a dash here, there should be a semicolon there should be full stop here, there should be a quoting. Why? Because that is where how they look at it. Constantly they are looking for what is wrong here. Quality, what do you call quality control? That's what people do. But of course, that is their job. But they start applying it to the people also. Then what happens? You are always looking for what is wrong with this person. So that is called Irsha. Matsaraha akshiyamana vastu aparityage ichcha. So even those which are imperishable, one is not able to stop seeking for even the perishable things. Yada rajakiya udapanat nodakamba iti vrittihi. See, even if it is a royal tank of water, one wishes that may it not be drunk by anybody. It is called matsar, jealousy. Ete lokadvayepi bhayahetavah ata eva goraha ityuktam. They are all, it is lokadvayepi bhayahetavah. Even though they are all subject to causing fear, therefore they are all terrible. Yasmat kama krodadi vishishtaha puman na pravrittehe viramati kadachitapi. Therefore, such a person never remains restful. A person of rajas cannot remain quiet. Sarvada abhi yatkinchit karvani eva avadishtate ata ete dharma rajasaha. Such people, even when they go for vacation, they cannot be quiet. You take them in a cruise. they'll be very miserable. There also they will start conducting a business because they cannot be quiet. They have to continuously engage in action. Rajah karmani bharata sanjayati ityuktatvat gitayam sarvada yatkinchit karma hetu nam etesham rajasatvam pravartana lakshana doshaha iti nyaya sutram sarvado nivritto hi sukam atra kasyapi nivritti prayojakatva abhavacha lobah pravrittirarambah karmana mashamaspruha rajasya edani jayante vivritte bharadarshava ityadi ityapi Gita. In Gita also it is said very clearly that karma pravritti is the nature of rajas, and because of which alone a person can never remain content, and constantly he is bound by action. Yasmat pravrittihi etas sarvajanan sarvajana anubhavisuddham tat maya gunatvena prasiddham kaditam rajaha bandhahetuhu karya karana sangada adhyasayeva bandhagatvat adhyasam vina karma sambhavat rajasaha bandhahetutvam vigneyam nahi anadyasta atma bhavena dehena kaschit vyapriyate iti adhyasa bhashyat. So adhyasam vina karma asambhavat. This is a very important point. Without adhyasa, superimposition, there cannot be action. The superimposition of the notion of happiness in the object alone is causing us to engage in action to acquire it. If I have an object in front of me on which I do not have a notion of happiness, no adhyasa takes place. Adhyasa means superimposing. If I don't superimpose the notion of happiness in an object, I do not act on it. The moment I superimpose the notion of happiness on anything, I cannot but act. So therefore, adhyasam vina karma asambhavat rajasaha bandhahedutvam vigneyam. Rajas, the nature of rajas is vikshepa, projection. Projection of what? Desire, the thought of happiness on an object. That is actually the projection, misapprehension. So that is why it is said rajas is of the nature of activity. Activity cannot be without superimposition. Superimposition is projection of desire, happiness in an object. And that is what is known as vikshepa shakti. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhat bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namah.